Hi everyone, Corey Barker here, one of the Photoshop guys, and today I want to talk to you about another great 3D feature in the new version of Photoshop. And it gives you the ability to paint directly on objects in a very interesting way. Now, this isn't really new. We've been able to paint on 3D objects for the past couple of versions, but takes it a step further and makes it much, much easier. Here's have a look. I'm going to jump inside Photoshop here, and inside this new document, I'm going to go ahead and create a new shape. Now I'm just going to go into the 3D menu here and go to New Mesh from Layer, go to Mesh Preset, and let's go ahead and choose the hat. So you can see it renders the hat right here on my canvas, and I can actually move it around and look at it, and everything looks pretty good. But let's say I wanted to paint on this object or do other things like that to it. Well, I could certainly use the projection method that we talked about in the other video, but what I'm going to do is actually go into my Layers panel. I'm going to jump over here, and you'll notice attached to this 3D layer is that diffuse texture for the hat material. I'm going to double click on that, and it's going to open up a new document. Now, in earlier versions of Photoshop, you would open up the texture file like that, and it would just be a blank document, or whatever color was applied to that texture map. Now, in this case, what Photoshop does is generates a wireframe overlay, as you can see right here inside this document, basically telling you where exactly in that document that, part of the element falls on the 3D object. So what I'm going to do is go into my window menu and arrange this so it's two up vertically, so I can see both my 3D file and the texture file. So what I'm going to do is actually, let's move this over so we can see it. And over here on this overlay file, if I jump over to my Properties panel, and I have my brush tool selected here, you can see down here at the very bottom it says UV overlays. Now I can choose to turn those on or off simply by checking that box right here. You can also change the color depending on what type of file you're working with. Simply click on this color swatch and choose whatever color you want, and even change the opacity if you like. So we'll go ahead and keep that like it is. Now mind you, this is just an overlay. It's not actually part of the image. It's not a layer or anything like that, so don't worry about painting on it or erasing it. So I'm just going to show you how this works. I'm just going to grab a color here, and let's get like this blue color. We'll make a nice flashy blue hat. Now notice when I put my cursor over the grid in my texture file, the little crosshairs that appear on the 3D object. This is telling me exactly where my cursor is falling on the 3D object in relation to this document. So if I click and start painting, I can immediately see that it's painting on that object. So I know exactly where I need to paint. I don't need to get too much texture or overpaint too much. I know exactly where that color is going to fall. And if I want to jump over here on that 3D object, this feature works in reverse as well. If I'm over here on the 3D object and I just move it around, let's say I just kind of rotate my view here a little bit, and I'll grab that brush. Once I start painting, notice the crosshairs appear now on my overlay file, telling me exactly where my cursor is falling on the overlay. So it goes both ways, really. It's really a really interesting feature in that you can have this two-up view, see your art as flat and editable, and also see the 3D art as editable as well. And this just makes it considerably easier to paint and maneuver around your objects. And again, it generates those 3D wireframes automatically when you create or when you open up that document file. Even for simple shapes, just to show you real quick, that was a hat and that was a complex mesh on there, but if I were to go in here just real quick and generate another object, let's say I would go ahead and create a pyramid. Creates a very simple pyramid file here. If I go into my layers and double click on any one of these materials, it opens up and you can see there is a simple flat 2D wireframe of that triangle, of that face of that pyramid, and I only have to edit the areas I know it's going to fall, which is inside those lines. And again, that overlay is optional, can be checked on and off, not part of the layer, but a huge time saver and big help when working on 3D objects. All right, so there you have it, another great new feature in the newest version of Photoshop. Be sure to check out the rest of this site and see all the new features. Have fun, take care.